Who really owns the world you live in? I mean, it sounds like a simple question, right? But the answer is, well, it's incredibly complex. Today, we're going to peel back all the layers to get to the final truth.
All right, so let's start with something we all know. You use Google, Amazon, Apple, probably every single day, but do you really know who owns them? I mean, who really pulls the strings? The story goes way, way deeper than you might think.
So, to get our heads around this, let's start at the surface. Layer 1, the stuff you can easily see, the visible chain of ownership.
Okay, so you probably already know some of this, right? Like, it's no secret that Alphabet owns Google and YouTube, or that Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook, owns Instagram and WhatsApp. But here's the thing. That is just the tip of the iceberg. That is not the whole story, not even close.
Right? That's the real question, isn't it? So who owns the parent companies themselves? And this, right here, is where the story takes a huge turn. This is where we start to see a much, much smaller group of owners. A group that holds a frankly staggering amount of power.
Okay, let's pull back another layer. It's time to meet the hidden owners of almost everything. They're known as the Big Three. So get this. It turns out that the largest shareholders in all those giants, we're talking Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, you name it, they're all the same. The same three investment firms, Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street. They are the top dogs, the biggest institutional owners across the entire market.
And this is where it gets kind of mind-blowing. The sheer scale of this it's hard to even wrap your head around. Together, these three firms manage over $25 trillion in assets. To put that in perspective, that is more than the entire yearly economic output of the United States and China combined. Just let that sink in for a second.
So, what does all that money mean? Well, here's where their power really becomes clear. Because they manage so much of it, they collectively own about 20% of the voting shares in most major U.S. companies. And that gives them an absolutely enormous amount of influence. We're talking influence over everything from who gets a seat on the board of directors to major company policies.
But wait a minute. Where's all this money actually come from? Is it some secret offshore account? Nope. The most crucial point is this. It's funded by millions and millions of ordinary people. It's our retirement accounts, our 401ks, our pension funds. That includes, most likely, your own money. So you see how this works? Our savings flow up to them, and in return, control and influence flows down from them.
Okay, so now that we know who the biggest players are, how does all this concentrated ownership actually shape the world we live in? Let's break down what we can call the architecture of control.
It all starts with the physical world. I mean, the internet isn't really a cloud, right? It's a very real, massive network of undersea cables and fiber optics. And guess what? Tech giants like Google, Meta, and Amazon, they now own or lease about half of all that undersea bandwidth. They literally control the pipes that deliver the data.
All right, so what about the next layer, the cloud itself? We're talking about the massive, power-hungry data centers where all our information actually lives. And here we go again. Just three companies. Amazon's AWS, Microsoft's Azure, and Google Cloud. They control almost 2/3 of the entire global market. It's an incredible concentration of power. And then, finally, you have the top layer, the apps and platforms we're on every single day. And, no surprise here, they're owned by the very same companies that own the cloud and the physical backbone. And who are the top shareholders of those companies? Yup, Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street. It's like they own the roads, the buildings on those roads, and all the shops inside those buildings.
And make no mistake, this architecture of control goes way beyond the internet. Just take a look at the 5 companies that get the vast majority of U.S. defense contracts. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, the list goes on. Now, take a wild guess who their top shareholders are. You got it, the same 3 firms we've been talking about.
So what happens when this kind of concentrated power sticks around for decades? Well, it creates something else, something permanent. A power structure that just stays the same no matter who you vote for, no matter who's in office.
And look, this isn't some new conspiracy theory. This idea has been around for a long time. Go all the way back to 1961. A 5-star general, a 2-term president, Dwight D. Eisenhower, in his farewell address, he warned the entire nation about this very system, what he called the military-industrial complex. And that system has only become more powerful, more entrenched since then.
So that's the real kicker, isn't it? Presidents come and go, politicians change, parties switch power, but this underlying structure, it doesn't budge. It's like a whole ecosystem that's designed to do one thing: maintain itself.
And one of the key things that keeps this whole machine running is something called the revolving door. You've probably heard of it. Here's how it works. A high-ranking government official, maybe a general, approves billions of dollars in contracts for a certain company. Then they retire, and what do you know? They get a cushy job on the board of that exact same company. And this isn't a partisan thing. It happens under every single administration.
And what about the policies themselves, the laws that get passed? Well, a lot of the time, the big foreign and domestic policies that politicians end up enacting, they were actually written, sometimes years in advance, by these super influential, privately funded think tanks. And the people in those think tanks, they often rotate in and out of the highest levels of government. It's all connected.
So after peeling back all these layers, what is it? What's the final truth we've been looking for? Well, it's something that's kind of sobering, but also, in a strange way, pretty empowering.
Here it is. The final truth is this. The whole machine, it runs on our participation. The entire system, from the massive power of those asset managers to the billion-dollar budgets of defense contractors, it's all funded and enabled by us. It literally cannot function without us.
And what does our participation do? It fuels a system where wealth just keeps compounding at the very, very top. I mean, look at this chart. The top 10% of the world's population owns 75% of all the wealth. Meanwhile, the bottom 50%, that's half of all humanity, controls just 2%. It's a staggering imbalance.
Think about it. The system needs you. It needs your labor to create value. It needs your tax dollars to fund those government contracts. It needs you to buy stuff to drive corporate profits. It needs your data to power all the new tech. And crucially, it needs your retirement savings to give firms like Vanguard and BlackRock all that voting power. Here's the bottom line. They need you way more than you need any single one of them.
And that, right there, that knowledge is power. So the final question isn't really, is the game rigged? The real question is, now that you see how it works, what are you going to do? Do you understand it well enough to navigate it, to build something new within it, or maybe even to help change it? What you do with this knowledge, well, that's entirely up to you.